what does this old towel and these plastic cement plates have in common? High-end cement bowls. Let's get started. Okay, so I actually got these from Dollar Tree of all places. I was just walking around the aisles trying to find the best bowls and cups that would give us like the best thickness and all of that and the shape. And I feel like these might do it. So we have a pack of two, actually 2 sets of these. So 4 of these, and then these come in a pack of 4, which go in there as such. Create kind of like a pedestal slash footed look with these ones as such. Now, of course, the goal here is for these to not look like DIYs. In fact, I want them to look like real stone, like they were hand carved, that they did not cost $2 to make. Can we do it? I hope so. First things first is I set up my molds here. I added some sand to the smaller bowl, spilled it all over the place, no worries. Next up, I mixed up a batch of cement, just cement and water, pouring it into our mold, aka our bowls. Oops, I didn't add enough cement to one bowl as you can see, so I just went back and added a little bit more. And similarly, I did the same thing for the cups. I don't want the red cups to sink to the bottom of the cement, otherwise the cement might break, so I ended up removing some of that sand. All right, it's the next day. I think we're ready to unmold this right here. So these bowls are actually quite flexible. I did not end up putting any like oil or anything. I'm kind of just wiggling it out. I mean, let's hope it comes out, but it's out. Okay, one thing I forgot to show on camera is for the cups. I actually ended up putting some tape here just because I found the red cup kind of to move around, and this kept it in place, making sure that the thickness was even. And by the way, this was kind of just optional. I just didn't want the base to be so heavy. I don't know. Require some elbow grease. All right, that's out. Honestly, this would be a really nice planter as is. Look. Okay, so we're gonna turn this upside down, and then, I mean, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue it up using some probably Gorilla Glue and some like hot glue just to hold it in place while that Gorilla Glue cures, will take a few hours. Before I do that, let me just do some sanding on the edges. It's a little bit rough. To not make a huge mess, I'm just gonna do wet sanding. So I'm just gonna dip the area that I'm gonna sand in some water here. I'll just take some sandpaper here. I'm using 40 grit sandpaper. That's probably too rough, honestly, but it's fine. Just so that the edges are not as sharp. As mentioned, I'm using a combination of Gorilla Glue and some hot glue. The hot glue will hold it in place while that Gorilla Glue cures, which will take a couple of hours and or days. It'll give a strong bond between these two things, almost like one solid piece. Well, now we just have to wait before we kind of unify it just to make it look more cohesive. In the meantime, have you heard of orange papaya iced black tea? Delicious. As you know, I love tea Forte and I really love iced tea, and this is their tea over ice pitcher set. It's so beautiful. I actually have it right here. It's modern, it's minimal, as you know I love. So let me show you real quick how to make tea Forte's tea over ice. First, you begin by adding some ice to the larger lower pitcher as such. Fill it up all the way. Next, you'll place the smaller pitcher on top with the tea diffuser. If you're looking for a tea recommendation, I recommend orange papaya iced black tea. It's so good. This one here is from Tea Forte, which is designed for the tea over ice as such. It smells so good too. Next, we'll put the cap right on top to hold it in place for a few minutes while the tea steeps. And yes, it will showcase the iconic Tea Forte leaf. Now we just wait for a bit. There we have it. Now it's ready to go, so you're just gonna go ahead and pour your tea over the ice, and the combination of the hot tea and cool ice creates a flash of chilled iced tea. Perfect to enjoy. Now, of course, you can get 25% off your Tea Forte order by using code Casa25. That's code Casa25 at checkout. Be sure to click on the link in the description box. Also, Tea Forte is offering a special giveaway to one of my subscribers, giving you one of these sets to try for yourself. These are so good. Be sure to click on the link in the description box for more details. Thanks, Tea Forte. Cheers. Now I'm ready to do some painting, and I'm just going to use acrylic paint here. So I'm mixing together some black and some khaki colored. This is going to create sort of like a muted / warm tone gray. I'm going to use this color and paint the interior, just add a little bit of contrast to the bowl. If I'm being honest here, I don't know how well this actually looks like carved stone, but we're going to roll with it. Next, for the exterior, for the outside, I'm going to paint this sort of like a beige color. So again, taking some acrylic paint diluted with some water and kind of just brushing it on there, kind of to create a stained effect. Now this looks good, but to finish this off, let's add a little bit of visual texture. So I mixed in some white into the mix. This creates sort of like a nice aged look almost. I think it's wonderful, adds a little bit of elegance, it adds a little bit of an aged effect, and it makes it look not so perfect, which I'm here for. Honestly, I'm pretty pleased with the result of these bowls. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now let's move on to the towel bowl, but first let's enjoy this final montage. Alright, so I was in the garage and I came across this old dirty towel, and I was like, before I throw it away, let me see if I can salvage this and make something amazing with cement, because you know I love cement. So that's what we're gonna do here today. We're gonna see if I can take this old towel, create like a nice ruffled bowl. Let's see what we can do. To get a nice soft edge curved with this towel, I'm going to cut this into a perfect circle. So I just grabbed this old dartboard, which was the largest circle I could find to trace and cut. And yes, did you see that fly? Oh my gosh. Now that we have our circle towel, it's time to get our hands dirty. Well, not really. We should be wearing some gloves when working with cement. I'm using cement all, and I'm just going to use with some water. Here I really want sort of like a thin consistency, kind of like paint almost. I want to be able to dip the towel into this, so more water equals better, but not too much water. Okay, so you know how there's smell-o-vision where you can like smell what you're watching? Well, that doesn't exist, and if it did, that would be awesome. But I wish there was feel-o-vision where you could feel the temperature of the space that you are watching, because let me tell you, it was like 100 degrees out. Estaba haciendo calor. Dipping the towel in the cement, it's kind of a mess, but it's kind of fun at the same time. It's kind of squishy and gooey, but once we dip that in there, let's lay this over our bowl here, get it nice and centered. One thing I found best is to put this on top of a bucket so that it can hang nicely and not stick to the paper. You know, the thing about a towel is that it's meant to absorb things, and it's absorbing the cement quite nicely. One trick I learned to get it nice and smooth is to rub it with my hands, also making sure that I am fixing the ruffles. Well, friends, it's the next day. The cement bowl has hardened and it's pretty hard. So removing it should not be that hard. This plastic bowl is quite flexible. Let's hope I can get it out, not break it. Oop. I don't like the sound of that. I broke it. What was I thinking? I should have wrapped some plastic wrap or something around the bowl, or put some oil. What was I thinking? Well, at least I know the bowl is solid, hard. Now, it's looking a little rough on the inside, so I'm gonna take this outside, add another layer of cement with like a brush and such. Also, it's gonna hide the fact that it still looks like a towel. We don't want this to look like a towel. Let's take this outside. Now this layer of cement is actually quite simple. It's just some water and some cement, mixing it nice and thoroughly. I'm just gonna take this old brush and literally just brush it onto the bowl. This is gonna help fill in maybe any concavities, making sure that it's nice and smooth. Nobody's gonna know. Hopefully nobody's gonna know the fact that this is a towel. In fact, we don't want this to look like a towel, because if it does, maybe it's a fail. While I'm at it, I'm also taking care of the exterior just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Look at that. Honestly, just looking at this footage now, it's looking a little rough, but let's trust the process. All right, we have our bowl here. I'm really loving the look of this. It's very kind of organic looking. Kind of reminds me of some of the pins that I have saved on my Pinterest, like very wabi-sabi aesthetic. This is very beautiful. One thing I went ahead and did is sanded it, just did some wet sanding outside. think we're ready to go here. I could just leave it as is, which I think this color is beautiful. I think I want to leave the inside, or actually I want to leave the outside the color it is, but the inside I kind of want to go in with something a little bit darker, kind of create a faux patina. I think this would add some contrast and make it more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to use some acrylic paint. Let's make a mess. I really want to keep this one as simple as I can, and I think for the interior I'm just going to paint this with this combination of black and khaki color that's really watered down, just so that I can still see some of that cement kind of peeking through. Look at the way that it kind of sort of bleeds through, almost like a stain. I just love the effect of this. I feel like it's very architectural, or not very architectural, just very sculptural and beautiful and elegant. And full disclaimer, I would not use this bowl for food, just for decorative purposes only. And I really feel like this could go pretty much anywhere if we really think about it. I'm honestly very impressed with the result of this bowl. Let me know where you would put this. I feel like this would look really nice like on a round dining table, or like a really large console at the entryway. Possibilities are endless. Really impressed with the result of these bowls. Comment down below, let me know which of the two was your favorite. If you plan to recreate any of them, of course tag me over on Instagram or TikTok. I'd love to see what you're working on. If you have any DIY cement project ideas or suggestions, please put them down in the comments below. As you know, I love cement projects, I love DIY, I love that material. But don't go yet, be sure to check out my DIY cement playlist here at the end of this video. Yes, I have a cement playlist. I've actually done a couple great projects, including one that I don't know if it came out yet. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope that you have an incredible day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I had to film all this again because it turns out there was no SD card in the mic.